Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Buck Sexton Show. Ryann McEnany is with us now. She is at the America First Policy Institute. She is involved in the digital program over there, ambassadorships, all kinds of cool stuff. AFPI is a think tank that people who spend time in Trump world are certainly familiar with. Ryann, first time on the program. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Very excited.
So tell me first, like, what does it mean to be? You're building out ambassadorships at AFPI, which is the America First Policy Institute. Obviously, America First, Donald Trump, he's running. There's a lot of stuff people are going to be focusing in on. It's going to get a lot of attention. But what's the piece of this that you're handling? What are ambassadors in this? I know what they are from when I was working for the government. But what are your ambassadors?
My ambassadors have a large digital presence, and they are very much America First focused, and very selected, very vetted and approved, but just solid influencers with a great brand on social media. And to be honest, I mean, social media is here to stay. That's the way to push out information to the masses. And AFPI is new. We're about 2 years old, and so we're proud of our policy research. We're doing big things. Sued big tech under President Trump as the lead plaintiff. We've done a ton of really, really great things, and the world deserves to know what all we are doing and what we stand for. And so building out an ambassador program of men and women with massive followings to help amplify our content is just absolutely invaluable.
So you were running Trump's official 2020 campaign Snapchat. Which, by the way, I don't even think I have a Snapchat account because I consider myself, I am too old to have a Snapchat account. You are not, so you understand Snapchat. But the Trumpster got banned back in 2020. I know he got banned from everything, but how did that happen with Snapchat? Like, did they just get the memo from Facebook and Twitter?
That actually hurt my heart. That was my baby. So when they took Trump off of Snapchat, they took me off of Snapchat, and they actually were the very first social media platform to remove a user from not only the Discover feed, but from the platform entirely because of his tone on Twitter, on a separate platform. So there were no rules violated. They said they removed him because they did not like what he said on Twitter. So it was absolutely such an injustice. And they did it right after the account started to take off, which was around May of 2020. I mean, I posted all of this meme-like video content because I know younger generations, they are very bored. I think it's a 2.5 second window that you have to grab someone's attention, and they're very visual people. And so I had to take content, make it cool, and promote it to the masses. And long story short, it was going viral. I mean, Joe Rogan was talking about it. Charlemagne the God was talking about it. T.I. I mean, everyone was talking about it. I believe Snapchat saw it taking off. They did not like that. And so they used every tool that they had to get Trump off.
Crazy. So they just decided because of the other, it really is like a social media cabal because of the other companies not liking something that Trump said or did. They all kick him off. They deperson you from social media. But that must have been quite a moment, though, to have been in charge of a sitting president's campaign social media platform and get told your platform is gone. It's not even like, hey, you have to play nicer in the future. It's you don't even get to play. You're done.
Yeah, done. And there was so much effort, so much thought that went into not only setting up the account and the ins and outs of that, but the content that was out there. I mean, people were really, they were watching it, they were being affected by it. And it was our way to reach a younger audience, persuadables even. And so it truly was an injustice, and it was a punch to the gut for sure.
So how'd you get into this? You were a college athlete, and obviously we share in common a buddy, your older sister, Kaylee, who was obviously forever watching Trump's White House press secretary. She had a phenomenal job. She might not even tell you this. Kaylee and I, we sat on the CNN set and used to have to look at each other like, who are these lunatics? Because We were among the conservatives. And then when Trump came, on the scene, you weren't really allowed to be conservative anymore, but they still were paying us, and we were on the payroll, so they didn't really know what to do with us. But anyway, so we share Kaylee in common, so it's not a surprise. My former colleague and your sister, that you would get into politics, but you also had some other reasons, some other decision making along this pathway. How'd you get into this?
It's a really funny story. Growing up, I was always an athlete. I was a really good athlete too. My brother was an athlete. My sister was the non-athlete.
Wait, what was the sport? What was your sport? You have to tell us.
So I did competitive cheerleading for, oh my goodness, since I was from 5 to 15. And then I was running track at the same time when I started high school. I could not handle both sports at the same time, plus keeping up with grades. So my mom said, you got to pick one. And she knew my heart was with competitive cheerleading. Track is not a fun sport. I mean, the saying is my sport is other sports' punishment. Running is not fun, but I was very good at it. I'm so happy I listened to my mom because I ended up getting into the University of Florida, running track there as a walk-on. And I will say it was the hardest thing I've ever done and the most humbling thing I've ever experienced. And so went there, got a master's degree in sport management from University of Florida, and never anticipated being in politics. I never did. I wanted to work in the NFL, but God changed my path. And it's because of a man named Donald J. Trump. I was not really ever interested in politics growing up. Sports was where my focus was. But for the first time, it was during his 2016 campaign, I would look at this man on TV and it's like, wow, you truly are making me fascinated in this whole world of politics. I loved his energy. I loved his love for America. And he just compelled me. And I knew he was making a difference. So I decided to get an internship at the RNC and then the White House. And then from there, I went to the campaign, and the rest is history. And I'm very, very, very glad that I went this route because I've realized this is the biggest Super Bowl of our life.
I want to know what it was like on the campaign, especially versus what you thought it would be like before you did it. But I'm going to get there in a second, Ryan, because very important question. Do you have Giza Dream Sheets? Because if you don't, I know a guy who could get you some. My friend Mike Lindell from MyPillow. The Giza Dream Sheets are amazing. They are at their lowest price ever right now because nobody's more focused than Mike Lindell on getting everybody a great night's sleep. The sheets are coming in as low as $29.98 with my name as the promo code Buck. That's BUCK. Make sure that you get yourself two sets of these Giza Dream Sheets. I get them for my family members. Everybody loves them. They come from the region of Egypt known as Giza. They're incredibly soft, and this is also why I love them, but they're also very durable. So breathable, soft, durable sheets, Giza Dream Sheets. All you have to do to get them, go to MyPillow.com, click on Radio Listener Specials, enter promo code Buck. Remember, the MyPillow products across the board come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's MyPillow.com. Click on Radio Listener Specials. Check out the flash sale on the Giza Dream Sheets. Use promo code Buck. And Ryan, we're going to have to hook you up with some Giza Dream Sheets, maybe some My Slippers, which are amazing.
I have a MyPillow right over there in my room. I do have a MyPillow.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So at least you've got like the beginning. That the MyPillow, that's like the starter kit. You got to start with the pillow, but we're gonna expand. They've got Snuggies, they've got like sweatshirts, they've got mattress toppers, they got all kinds of amazing stuff. So anyway, I know that was a bit of a surprise, but we do have ads here.
We love Mike.
So tell me, and Mike is the greatest. He's amazing. He is a force of nature. So working on the campaign, what was it like versus what you thought it would be like?
The campaign was very intense. And I mean that when I say it just was a lot of hours. Emotionally, it was intense. Especially the way it ended. Obviously, we were not planning for that. But you know what? The campaign opened up my eyes to something. But
this is 2020, just to be clear. Go ahead. They figured from how it ended, but keep going.
Yes. And so the campaign, I had the opportunity not only to run a social media account for the President of the United States, which was unbelievable, but I got to travel the country to various Trump rallies, interviewing everyday Americans in the audience. just asking them, why are you here today? And what I realized is that every person has a story to tell. And the stories that I would come across at these rallies gave me so much hope in the American people and the love that they have for this country. It's not what CNN paints. It's not what social media wants you to believe. Like, people truly love this country. They have a story to tell. And although the campaign was tough, it was the most rewarding thing, going to from state to state every single day, especially towards the end of it, and interviewing these people, interviewing people who fled communism, interviewing people who, were former Democrat turned Republican just because of Trump. One guy I came across, it was at the Michigan rally. His name was Justin. I said, why are you here today? And he pointed to Trump and he said, that man right there on the stage, I'm here because of him. And he said he was just released from prison because of the First Step Act. And he was locked away. And he said, I'm trying to tell all of my friends, my family, to vote for this man because he's changed my life. And he started tearing up towards the end of it. So it truly was so special. And that's just one story. I mean, I have so many, but it really was a rewarding experience.
Well, sounds like it. And sounds like, well, I think we all know Trump is in the midst of another campaign as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you about what it's like being an outspoken, obviously you worked on the 2020 campaign. People may also figure out that your big sis was the White House press secretary. So there's a pretty good assumption there that you are a Republican. What's it like to be a young Republican and an outspoken Christian today in the workplace, out socializing among your peers? I mean, you're Gen Z, right? So your generation's really crazy.
No, I'm a millennial.
Oh, you're a millennial? Oh, okay.
I am.
Well, I'm technically a millennial too, so now I feel like I'm more with it. I'm hip, although I'm the oldest possible millennial you can be. But anyway, what's it like? She is substantially younger than me. What is it like?
It's tough because you see the world changing so quickly, and you see how much hate there is for conservatives in general. At least it feels that way. You know that we don't have the media on our side. We don't have social media on our side. We don't have Hollywood. We don't have sports. We don't have, I don't know, every big institute out there. We don't have, but we do have the hardworking men and women of this country. We have God, and God has already won the battle. So my parents like to tell me that I'm too doomsday in my content. I talk about the end times, etc. But my point in all of this is that it is tough. It is tough in this generation. And I can't even imagine the younger generations below me because they are facing way tougher times than I did when I was in school. But it's tough, but we also know that God is on our side and he's already won the battle. So that's kind of where I stand right now.
I can I come back to the end times point here in just a second, but first, a word from our sponsor, Ryan. If you're a T-Mobile subscriber, they're out there investigating a data breach that exposed the sensitive personal information of 37 million customers. Right after the New Year's, cyber hackers grabbed that data without notice, and that has all kinds of personal stuff that cyber thieves can use. They can get it on the dark web to take out some kind of loan or credit card in your name. What can you do about this? Well, you want to just have LifeLock operating all the time on your behalf. LifeLock's got your back. Their online identity theft protection includes monitoring the web 24/7 for regular activities and new account openings. If they see unusual activity in your name and you're a LifeLock customer like I am, you'll get an alert. It's important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft are affecting our lives, and no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But it is easy to help protect yourself with LifeLock. I've relied on them for years. They come through time and time again. Join now. Save up to 25% off your first year with promo code BUCK at LifeLock.com. That's promo code BUCK, B-U-C-K, at LifeLock.com, or call 1-800-LifeLock. Like I said, promo code BUCK when you go to LifeLock.com, 25% off. I've had it for many years. You know, I actually had, like, somebody ran up over $1,000 on a cable. They like took my identity and pretended to be me, and they ran their cable bill. It was a nightmare, by the way. So you want to have LifeLock, bottom line. So you got to get Giza Dream Sheets, and you got to get LifeLock operating in the background.
I have LifeLock.
There we go. See, you're the perfect guest. You have a MyPillow. You actually already have LifeLock. This is what I like. This is what I like to hear. See, now we're having fun. I was going to ask you about the end times. So I'm like, I don't know. Just tell me how your parents end up asking you to sort of tone down the end times rhetoric a little bit. Like, what are you talking about, Ryan? You seem so happy.
Well, first of all, I'm happy because I have Jesus in me, and I think that his light shines through me, and I appreciate that. That's very kind. My mom, she talks about the end times almost every day, all the time. And she's the reason why I am doomsday in my lives or in my posts sometimes, because it's hard not to view the world in that way right now. Just seeing the craziness that's happening in our country with our youth and how they're trying to infiltrate the minds of our youth. Like that is sick. And not just in our country, but in the world. I think when COVID hit, I think everyone kind of felt shook a little bit. We felt like there was an evilness happening. And so I blame my mom for me talking about the end times. But what's positive is that God wins, and he's already won, and he wants us to enjoy this life that he's given us. And, we need to prioritize prayer and maybe less politics and get right with Christ as a nation.
All very important points. It's interesting. I feel like more and more these days, so many of the problems of the left are actually problems of lack of purpose. And I don't want to pretend that for everybody, spirituality is the answer, but for a lot of people, it's the answer. Certainly a connection with God creates or builds a sense of purpose for the individual. I mean, I think that a lot of what you see on the left is people who are latching on to these beliefs that are, or even latching just onto these ways of life that are empty and that are quite hollow. And I think the state replaces God for many of them, which is why politics really is the religion of the left. And by the left, I mean the Democrat Party.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I completely agree. And at the end of the day, we all have to remember nothing will fulfill us the way God will. And it's so true. Politics, your career, even family, of course, you're gonna love your family, your friends, but still the only thing that can fulfill is Christ. And like you said, a lot of the times people on the left that is their religion. Politics, that's their religion. That's what drives them. And just to know that there's something deeper. I'm not going to show this necessarily, but back and forth, I'll show it real quick because I don't want names to be, exposed. But these are all prayer requests from people, my followers, Uber drivers that I've opened up conversations with about Christ. And I've been trying to normalize asking them, how can I pray for you? Can we pray right now? And when I had a flood of DMs come in with very specific requests from people that I don't even know, it made me realize there's something greater out here, than politics. And right now we're at a time where our country could go one way or the other. And so I show you this prayer list to bring up the point that, we can take this country back, but it's going to take a lot of effort, and it's going to take something way more powerful than politics.
I mean, can I get on the prayer list? I got evil commies working on Satan's behalf, coming at me left and right. I'm just throwing that out there. So I could use a little help. So you've got a list there. You could add me to the list, please.
You'll be my next name.
There we go. Thank you. I want to ask you about Florida because you're a fellow Floridian. And there's this other guy. I know you like Trump a lot. There's this other guy in Florida that's getting a lot of attention. He's doing a pretty good job here as the governor, I think, for sure. And we'll see where he's going. But just a moment for our sponsor here from Chalk, because I want to ask everybody out there, how's your energy level these days? Are you as fit and energetic as our friend, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, for example, who looks like he just lost about 25 pounds. I mean, Ron DeSantis, that guy is going to be grating Parmesan cheese on his abs if this keeps up. It's crazy what's going on out there. You've got to check out Chalk, my friends. I don't know if Ron's taking Chalk, probably not, but Chalk is amazing. It is a series of different supplements. They're so effective. I learned about them last year. They bring energy levels back to optimum level. They've spent years looking for the right helpful ingredients and organized them into products especially made for men and women. If you're looking for an answer that's a little more developed than a second cup of coffee, or for me, like the fifth cup of coffee in the afternoon, check out Chalk's Male Vitality Stack or the Female Vitality Stack. Each one is formulated to help maximize your everyday potential. Their website is simple and easy to spell. Choq, CHOQ.com. A little unique, but easy once you know it. Use my name, Buck, CHOQ.com, and then use Buck, B-U-C-K. When you make your first purchase, you'll get 35% off any Choq subscription for life. Not just your first purchase or your first few years, but for life, 35% off. Go to Choq, CHOQ.com. Use my name, Buck, when you're setting yourself up to receive these products every month. That'll really help you. You can cancel anytime, but that rarely happens because people love this. Choq, CHOQ.com. Make sure you use promo code Buck for 35% off for life. This stuff is awesome. I have this like cacao powder I got from them. I went through it all last year. I got to get more of it. So, Ryan, Florida, good things happening here. You're a Floridian. Is this the model for the rest of the country? And where do you stand on Ron DeSantis?
Absolutely, this is the model for the rest of the country. And I think we saw that during COVID when all these other states were locked down and DeSantis decided to open up. I mean, people, I can tell you firsthand, seeing just the massive flood of Pennsylvania license plates, New York, New Jersey, all of these various states that were locked down fled here during COVID because they wanted to live. They wanted to go out with their friends, go work. So DeSantis really became a shining star during the COVID era, I will say, and we are so thankful for him. I don't want to lose him. I think that he would be a great president, but selfishly, I want to keep him here in Florida. And, he's a rising star, so I think his future is very bright. However, I think Trump, he's my guy. I mean, I worked for him. I love him. And he has unfinished business to do. And we want DeSantis in Florida, and just for now. And then I would love to see him run and be president one day. That's where I stand.
Oh, I hear you. Look, I'm a fan of the Trumpster, especially because every time he sees me, he says, "Buck Sexton, best hair in TV." Which, I mean, first of all, he probably says that to like 50 different people, but I don't care. When the president of the United States says something like that, you get to be excited about it. So,
absolutely.
All right. So I know you're doing all this cool stuff yourself in politics, and you work the 2020 campaign. But you got to tell me, what was it like seeing your big sister Kaylee up there just swatting around the commies from the podium in the West Wing, left and right, and being a highly competent and effective White House press secretary for Donald Trump?
It was the coolest experience for me as her sister to see the girl I grew up with my whole life, the Kaylee I know, behind closed doors, stand behind the podium, and see the effect that she had on the country and the world. And I know that God chose her and picked her specifically for that time and place because God equipped her to perform a very difficult task. And I will say my sister is the strongest female I have ever met in my life. She does not get affected by emotional things. She does not get affected by mean tweets from followers. She truly was meant for that. I think I would go home and cry if I had her position in the White House at that time, just because of the backlash she got. But boy, people respected her. And I will say, watching her on TV, I never once got nervous because number one, she tells the truth. Number two, she is a genius. She has so much intelligence. And I knew no one could stop her. No one could push her in a corner and, stump her with a question. No, that girl knew her stuff, and it was historic. And so to be a part of that and to live with her, I was living with her at the time in DC. I was on the campaign. She was at the White House. It was the coolest experience in the world. She'd come home after a tough day and we just watch a show together, cook together. It just was truly magical. So that's my 2 cents with that, but a very proud sister.
Absolutely, as you should be. Ryan, thanks so much for hanging out with us on the show. Where can people go to follow Ryann McEnany's latest machinations?
They can go to Instagram. It's my first name, Ryann, and my last name, McEnany. McEnany. And on Twitter, I believe it's the same handle, but Twitter and Instagram, those are my platforms, not TikTok. The campaign would not allow us to have TikTok for good reasons. So I will not be joining TikTok ever, but Instagram and Twitter, those are my platforms.
All right, Ryann, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Great to see you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Buck.
Thank you.